Welcome back. You're watching a Storyboard special, and we're focusing on the Indian events and promotions industry. From overlapping laws to the lack of professional talent or dearth of professional talent and infrastructure, let's discuss some of the hurdles that get in the way of this business with Sabbas Joseph, Atul, Nath, and Brian Tellis. Brian, all three of you, if I'm not mistaken, here are first-generation entrepreneurs,
yes,
right?
We are.
And well, that is actually the engine that the Indian economy is, riding on and growing with, or getting powered by. It also comes with its challenges, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. The fact being that we're first-generation entrepreneurs, and I often say with a smile on my face, entrepreneurs by default or by mistake.
Creative people who became, who saw the opportunity.
That's the God-honest truth, actually, across the industry, I'd like to believe that it was based on passion and, yes, a sense of business opportunity, and one thing led to another. And here we are, actually, on Storyboard, discussing a potential industry, if not an industry already. And yes, so of course we do face challenges, given the fact that we are nascent. When you compare us to some of the other industries. This year, in fact, at our convention, we are focusing on scaling up and what it will take. So you named some of it in your leader into this segment, but yes, it is systems and processes, or SOPs, that we need to follow. For example, HR practices that we need to follow. Talent development and talent retention that we need to get familiar with and understand. And obviously, as we go along, broadening the base of services that we offer, understanding the intricacies of the nuances of these various verticals within the larger experiential bouquet, if you want. So yes, there are a lot of internal challenges, which I must say we need to get our act together on, being a nascent industry.
Let me get Sabbas in here. Sabbas, when you look back at the past 2 decades now and look at the range of activities that Wizcraft is associated with, whether it's creating IFA or the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games or television programming, what would you say is the key challenge for a company like yours?
I think the key challenge for a company like ours would be making the client understand what we can deliver and what we can do.
Who's your competition? Who are you fighting with for your clients' attention or money?
I think most often we're fighting with ourselves because there's so much of opportunity that does come up. You're actually looking at and grappling with the opportunity, which is the one that you really want to focus on, which is what you want to move forward with. So there's no dearth of opportunity in that sense. I don't think it's a fight between us and another agency or another agency and us on any respect, because there's so much of opportunity for everybody. The real reality is this, that you're trying to educate the consumer, that is the client, actually.
Your customer. You're trying to educate your customer.
The client, I'd say, as to what experiential marketing can deliver, what an event can deliver, what an integration of services can deliver, and what difference it would make to his bottom line or the client's business itself. And I think the only way to do that is to actually demonstrate it in action. So most often, the fight is to be able to deliver so well that that becomes the benchmark and reason why the client wants you. The client believes that this is what works for his business. Not necessarily just that Wizcraft's work works for his business, but that the events work or the experiential marketing work itself works for his business and helps his bottom line.
So you're saying that's the key challenge?
That's one of the key challenges. I think some of the issues that we do face are having benchmarks, having a system of being agencies on record. Having the advertising industry today has agencies on record. You have a PR agency which is retained over a longer period of time.
Right.
The transactional
So is it
nature,
still transactional and project-based where your industry is concerned?
It is largely that, but it is slowly migrating to a scenario wherein it is retainerships, it is long-term relationships with clients, and the relationship matters to the client, matters to the agency. So we are slowly migrating to that. Of course, it's taking a little longer than we would like it to be, but I think it's moving in the right direction. So I wouldn't really see it so much as a challenge or as a hurdle, but it's something that we've got to be real about and say that we've got to help this transition happen. Okay.
Atul, what would you say is the key challenge? Because you're in the business and yet it's a slightly different, more specialized area, isn't it?
Take a step back. It's interesting that while our business, our industry, if I may call it that, has been around for, whatever, 20 years. I've been around for 16 years in the business now. It's really, if you look at the industry as an analyst, you would find that it actually doesn't reflect being around for that long. So it's actually nascent while actually being 16 years old. So a lot of the signs that you see in the industry are that of a sunrise industry that really should have found its feet by now. I think we need to step back, and one of the reasons why this has happened is because we haven't had an industry association. It's just started in the past 3 years. If we had had some organization in the industry 10 years back, you would have seen us far more developed today than we are. So I would say we're in a manner of speaking, just a 5-year-old industry and gotten organized in the last 3.
Okay, can I play devil's advocate here and ask you if it makes sense for your industry to ally itself closer with the advertising industry to sort of get together maybe with the AAAs of I? Because, you know, I know that you all met the finance minister, you know, to protest against the service tax on the invoice and not when the actual bill is raised. I know that the AAAs of I did a similar delegation. Would it give you more muscle if you all came together, and you know, or what are the problems in getting together?
Firstly, as a broad answer to your question, it's an emphatic yes, because I do believe that the source of our business and broadly speaking the reason of our business is really allied. You know, when we talk about above the line and below the line or through the line, right? So yes, an emphatic yes, we need to be working closer together. In fact, as you're probably aware, there are efforts being made by agencies to kind of either buy into...
To look for acquisitions in this space, absolutely.
And that's for obvious reasons. I do believe that we need to ally, and I do believe there are efforts in that direction as well.
Atul, I'm sure your company must be on the radar for a lot, you know, in terms of an acquisition for a lot of these big companies that are just crazily looking to grow, whether it's WPP or Publici. I'm sure they make the rounds when they come.
Sure, absolutely. It's been like that for a few years, and there have been a half a dozen acquisitions in the past 3-4 years. So in the events business,
which has got allied to advertising agencies.
To answer your earlier question, can we ally with advertising? The answer would be yes, but I believe we need to be worthy. As an industry, we're not, in my opinion, we're close, but we're not yet worthy. I think we have a lot of common agendas, service tax being one of them, and there are many others.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I think we can ally with them and work together with advertising together with them. But unfortunately, there are also agendas in which we are not together. Like, for example, the marketing rupee.
Sabbas, where do you weigh in on this?
I weigh in on this very simply. I don't think everyone has realized enough about the experiential marketing business and how allied we actually are. The second aspect, those who have are also conscious that we are their biggest competition. The biggest change or the biggest shift in the advertising rupee is moving towards experiential marketing compared to any other realm. So that's a second aspect. I believe that there will come a time when enough of the advertising agencies have bought into enough of the experiential marketing companies, and all interests will be allied and will be one any which way. So it's not very far.
So you're saying you're just waiting for great valuations?
No, I don't think so. I think the realization of our interests being allied together.
Okay, what about talent? Is that an issue? Is the talent pool big enough, or is that something that's common, whether it's advertising or media? The talent pool is simply not able to cope with the growth.
We recognize the fact that we're a nascent industry and that there's a great need to attract talent, and once we have, to retain it, which is why I spoke about we've already tied up with 2 educational institutes that are already imparting courses in the field of experiential marketing. We are now allied with them in their course content, and we're also going to be very involved in the delivery of that course content.
Okay, so as an industry, as an association, you're trying to you know, address the talent question.
Absolutely right.
Okay, Atul, what do you look for specially for someone to get into your business?
The people who we are looking for and who we have need to have a slightly different attitude. We look for far more a hunting attitude compared with advertising. Having said that, the skill sets are similar. So if you're looking for creative people are very, very similar to creative people in advertising. And whether I call it servicing, operations and execution is a totally different ballgame compared to advertising. They don't have anything like that. But so broadly speaking, I would say the talent pool is similar, but the attitude is crucially different.
When you're actually out there putting out your money to buy that talent, do you find it difficult to attract people to your business?
It used to be. It's changed a lot because a lot of people realize how exciting our business is, right?
And how glamorous.
Yes,
Sabbas, you know, you need to become a whiz and your life changes, isn't it, Sabbas?
True. Either you're a whiz or you're nothing. But very honestly, it was a lot more difficult to acquire talent earlier. It's a lot more easier now, one. Second is that we're paying a lot better now than before, and we are definitely in the space of competing for the best talent. Right. Our talent comes in a lot more younger than for the advertising business. You're into an event company, and don't be surprised what your managing director in an advertising agency is hoping to do, spend a day with Bill Gates. You've got that happening for you in your first year or second year. And that's rare.
People is something we've addressed. You want to quickly just give us 2 other points that this industry sees as a challenge that needs to be dealt with? There
are a few things that need to be taken care of, some of which are outside of our purview, but we can actually lobby towards it. I'd like to believe rationalization of taxes is one thing that we spoke about earlier. I'd like to say single window clearances. I mean, honestly, we work at about 15 licenses per event that we do. So rationalization or single window clearance for all our licensing.
So you're basically dealing with a whole bunch of authorities to get a single event going, isn't it?
That's right.
A single event requires probably about 10 to 14 licenses, depending on where it is being held, in addition to all the permissions you require to get for music and all the taxation aspects. The taxation regime for an event company is far tougher than that for any other business, any other industry. You're affected by VAT, service tax, income tax, entertainment tax, and every thing. And everyone is out there believing that because you're in the glamour space, the money is there.
Right.
And very honestly, the money is far less than what is perceived or what is imagined. And there's a lack of understanding among the authorities and overall about the industry itself.
That white paper, I think, is very critical, isn't it, Brian? I think Iman needs to invest in getting that out.
Actually, so we've been talking about it for a while, and I'm quite clearly in a position to say that we will nail that given the next 12 months. Yes, no, and I'm making this commitment. We'll nail it in the next 12 months because that's the very basis on which we can base progress.
Atul, Nath, Sabbas Joseph, Brian Tellis, all the very best with your business. And Brian, that white paper you should get going on it because on Storyboard you'll have a platform to discuss it as soon as it's out.
That's a deal.
That's a deal. Okay, all the best, gentlemen. Thank you for coming in and thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Storyboard special. Do watch out for more in this space. See you.